Hey, Barry.
Hey, guys.
How are you, buddy? What a day yesterday was, right?
Head spinning, yeah. I mean, you guys know how long Mike Rizzo has run that baseball department, and we can talk about whether it was deserved or not, but that news pops in, and you take a deep breath and say, wow, they really did it, and his life is different, and Davey's life is different, and the franchise is different. So pretty monumental day for that team.
Hey, as a reporter, what's a standard Sunday night like yours after, a Nats game that ends at 4-ish, and then when something comes out like that, I mean, it just becomes an all-nighter.
Yeah, so, you put down the fish tacos that you were making for dinner and wash your hands and head to the laptop. I was texting and talking with some execs, from across the game after filing a column about, kind of assessing the job and what kind of person would be good, who's out there that would be good, and what has to be done to turn around, not just, they got swept by the Red Sox and they had an 11-game losing streak, but kind of the underlying problems that have gotten them to this position, which I know we've talked about have a lot to do with drafting and developing, which they really haven't done for the better part of a decade. So really, really important decision going forward. Obviously, I really think that the general manager or the president of baseball operations that they put in place should be able to hire his manager. And it really will be kind of revealing how the learners handle the GM search. They have had a slew of execs from different areas in their business leave for other jobs over the past couple of years. And in almost every case, they've just bumped up whoever was behind them and not, gone out and tried to figure out who the best and the brightest out there are. I don't think they can do that in baseball ops. And that's not to say Mike DiBartolo isn't deserving of a shot. He's a really thoughtful executive and has been there a long time and knows the good and the bad that's under the hood there. But he has to be put up against a list of qualified candidates who are allowed to come in and make their own presentations. And really, they should be seeking opinions from all across the sport because this is a major, major hire, and they haven't done that for whatever it is, 17 years since they put Rizzo in charge.
Barry, I remember when we had you on a few weeks ago, and we talked about the Nats a little bit and Rizzo, and I think you referred to Mike as like he's kind of like the furniture over there, right? He's been around for so long, and you alluded in this column that you wrote last night, that you kind of got the sense when you met with him in spring training that maybe people were a little too comfortable. You didn't feel that comfortable writing about it, but that was the sense you had. I know we had Chelsea on earlier, and she talked about the lack of urgency she felt maybe that was there when you compare a team like the Tigers. Talk about that kind of instinct that you had in spring training, why you didn't write it, why you thought that, and just how we got to this point.
So, yeah, and in some ways I feel bad not writing that at the time because it sounds like kind of retrofitting the situation. But, as a columnist now with the team where it is in its development, like, I'm not going down to spring training twice for 10 days at a time. It's only worth – I went down there once. I was there for, I think, 6 days of reporting. And even though I sensed that, I felt like, man, there's everybody – and I don't even just mean Rizzo and Davey in terms of feeling comfortable. I thought the players took that cue and, you're C.J. Abrams and you're coming off getting banished at the end of last year, you're James Wood and you're about to be a star, but no one, it didn't feel like a competition. And I meant that kind of throughout the up and down the organization. But again, I held back because, you know what, I'm going to get that sense over 6 days. They hadn't even, I left and they were just starting to play games. I could have been wrong, but in retrospect, I do feel like I was right. And that's some of a reflection on Rizzo and Davey, but I also think it's more a reflection on ownership because, they've had this kind of half in, half out thing for a while. And even though Mark Lerner sat down with me at spring training and said, we feel like we're going to run this for the foreseeable future, it didn't feel and it doesn't feel, until last night, aggressive. Like, how can we make this better? What are we doing that's good? What are we doing that needs improvement? What people do we have in place and positions that we don't have in place should we thinking about? Should we be thinking about? So it just was like, it felt like kind of a malaise, and this move is a chance to change that and not just shuffle the deck, but really dive in and think about what have we not committed to that would help, that kind of undercut Rizzo and his operation, because he'd tell you that he didn't have all the stuff, not just major league payroll, but, bodies and technology and that kind of thing. That's what they have to kind of explore now, a full-scale look at what they do well and what they don't do well and who would help them and what would help them improve in all areas.